Hey, Coop here. I'm in Sound Garage Studios, and today I'm really excited to talk about some new pedals. The Big Joe Stomp Box Company. Great analog pedals that sound absolutely awesome. I've got 5 different overdrive distortion pedals and 1 phase shifter that you've got to hear that's absolutely amazing. Let me just start off and play a little bit, give you a chance to hear some things, and then we'll get into details about how great these pedals actually are. All right, we're going to get into some pedals now. Let's talk first of all about the vintage tube pedal. All right, I'm going to start off here with the vintage tube pedal. The vintage tube has an output, a drive, and a presence knob. And I'm going to start off just really subtle. It almost sounds like a boost. So here's my dry signal, just my guitar directly into my Koch amplifier. And now I turn on the pedal. So I've got a little bit of drive, but not a lot of drive, but it's just a nice, smooth fatness to the guitar. Let me turn that drive knob up. Now things start to get a little bit thicker, beefier in the tone. But still that warmth, that real beautiful, subtle overdrive that's not too distorted. Thick enough that you can use it for a nice, punchy rhythm or for a solo that you want to. Very, very cool sounding pedal. All right, let's talk about the vintage tube pedal. This is a little bit different than the original vintage that I showed, so let me let you hear that. Let's start off here with my humbucker. There I am clean. So it's got a little bit of bite. I can obviously turn up the overdrive. This is a much darker filter, pushing the mids a little bit high. And then this one is a brighter filter. That's the vintage tube. Sounds awesome. All right, the third in my series of great Big Joe Stomp Box pedals is the classic tube. The classic tube has the output, gain, and tone, and it has a switch on there that you can do some fun things with. Let's listen to that. Really sounds awesome on the neck pickup. When you want a sound that's not too distorted, but yet thick and fat. Let's bring up the gain a little bit on this one. It's a little bit more sustained, but it's not serious, like take your head off kind of distortion or anything. Just like a really fat, nice tube amp. Let's go to the humbucker on the bridge. Nice sounding pedal. classic tube. All right, the next in my series is the hard tube pedal. The hard tube pedal is a really interesting pedal. It's got output, it's got gain, and then it's got this mid sweep that you can do. So you can change the tones to get really nasty, heavy metal tones to like thick overdrive, kind of a la, say, Santana. This real fat tone. Give it a sweep. You want some real metal tones. You can get some serious metal tones with the hard tube Big Joe stomp pedal. The last of the 5 overdrive distortion pedals that I have is the saturated tube. This is going to take you over the top, and yet you can still get some really good tube amp tones. So let's start off here with kicking it into my single coil out of phase position. Nice and crunchy, but not too heavy. Now let's go the opposite way. Let's bring up the gain structure to this and kick on my humbucker. Let's mix and match. So we're going to mix and match a couple of these pedals to do some really exciting things. Let's start off with the vintage tube again. And let's add the classic tube to this vintage tube sound. The saturated tube to it. Just by switching both back and forth between the hard tube and the saturated tube, you get this amazing amount of tones and variations, and I'm not even touching the amplifier in terms of doing anything with the gain structure of the amp. I'm leaving the amp absolutely clean. So these pedals really have a lot of tone variation, and there's even more possibilities, and we're going to get into those in a second. The last of the pedals that I have with me today is the Big Joe Phaser. And this is an exciting pedal because it can really give me some classic tones that are reminiscent of a lot of great guitar players that have used phase shifting. The thing I like about this particular pedal is that it's got some feedback, it's got a speed control, of course, and you can do some varieties of tone shaping with it to get some really interesting tones. This particular amplifier that I'm using has an effects loop. I highly recommend that you put the phase shifter, any modulation pedal, through the effects loop and not put it into the front of the amp like I have my overdrive and distortion pedals. So here I'm going to turn on the phase shifter. Let's go into the out of phase position. nice smooth transition when I turn the knob on the speed control. Let's change the feedback. It's some really radical, the depth control. Slow it down a little bit. Let's add a little overdrive to it. Let's add some serious distortion. You can see you can get some really exciting tones, and I'm just using some overdrives or some distortions and one phaser. Now the other thing about the phaser that I like too, if I switch the feedback and the depth and get that long lingering with the vintage tube. Exciting pedal, the phase shifter. You got to check these pedals out. Big Joe is an awesome new company. Go to BigJoeStompboxCompany.com. You can find out all kinds of amazing things about the history. Who's Big Joe? Big Joe Williams, an amazing guitar player who was the king of 9-string guitar. You got to check it out. Find out the history about Big Joe.